This video is a sort of review of the Vogurtime AM/FM radio DIY kit. This is a kit that gives you all the components necessary to solder your own AM and FM radio. Obviously, you have to provide your own soldering iron, your own solder, your own batteries, and all that. But it provides you all the necessary components, the instructions, and yeah, it's a very nice kit, as you'll see. Let's look at the components first. Alright, here are all the parts. We got antennas, a bunch of stuff in here. These are oscillators and capacitors and resistors. These are variable resistors, I believe. This is a AA battery pack. These are 2 plastic dial pieces. Here's the nice PCB. It has a little device thing already soldered onto it. I'm not too great on my terminology, so bear with me there. Here are some metal bolts. Here's a switch. Here's a speaker for the radio itself. And then here's some metal parts. These are bolts, nuts and connection pieces. Yeah, that's all the stuff. Another thing is the instructions that it comes with. They're pretty simple. They don't really guide you, hold your hand too well. They tell you how to do it. If you're if you're kind of used to this, if you just want to get the radio done real quick, then these will work for you. But if they don't, if you need something more advanced to walk you through it, they provide an email. You email them, they'll happily send you a nice, more in-depth PDF of what to do with all this stuff. I will note that the PCB's quality feels very nice. All the stuff feels very nice, so that's very good. So now we have it all completed here. The build was actually quite a breeze. The first things you do is you solder on the resistors, such as the ones here, 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 here. The one thing is they don't, as they come, they aren't really marked to, it doesn't say directly how many ohms each resistor is. You do have to actually look at the bands and figure out their values yourself, which, I mean, it could be confusing for newcomers. It is good practice, though. That's really my only real complaint about this entire kit. It's a very good kit. And then you move on to the capacitors. There's electrolyte capacitors, which, they have their own polarities. Make sure you watch for that. Monolithic and ceramic capacitors. The nice thing is each value for each capacitor, you can easily see which one's which. All of the monolithic ones are 104F. All the ceramic ones are 27P. The little ones are 100 UF. The big ones 470 UF. So that's helpful. Then, there's a switch here. This allows you to switch from AM to FM. The one thing that's important you have to do is you want this little notch right here to be facing away from the speaker towards the switch 1 marking. Flip it around. Look at here's the IC1 component. It's some sort of chip. I'm not sure exactly what it does. You can kind of look into it more. But this I'd say is definitely the hardest part to solder. The hardest component to solder on the kit. As you can see, my soldering is not great. I'm still kind of a noob. But here it is under it. You can see all of the pegs that you have to solder in. And it's kind of worrying because they do warn you might overheat it. I was worried I overheated it because I did spend quite a bit of time. Luckily, I ended up not. Here we have the AM antenna. This one you solder on. It looks kind of jarring because there's all 8 of these pegs. You're going to have to solder on 2, which is pretty nice. The FM antenna is a mechanical connection. As are these guys, you have to solder the wires onto here. That's pretty easy. The one spot you're going to have to make a lot of look at, make sure you get this right, is the variable resistors at these 2. Make sure the red one is at the bottom for 1. And you want to make sure you have a healthy amount of solder on each of these connection points. See, when I first turned this on, it was dead silent. There was nothing, no static, nothing. I had the batteries on, I had a multimeter. I even checked if there was, I was getting voltage out of the batteries directly. I was getting the right amount, however much that is. That's like 3 volts, I think. A bit over 3 volts, but it just wasn't working. I wasn't sure why. So I contacted their support email, and they were very helpful. They got back to me real quick. They had me send some pictures of what I did. and they also gave me advice with a multimeter. They first said, so I sent them the pictures. They said first, add more solder here. They also said like, oh, everything looks like it's in the right place, so just add more solder here. And then if that doesn't work, you can check each of these chips by putting the multimeter pins here or wherever. But anyways, I did this first. I turned it on, and well, very good news. Well, let's turn it on, because this is what happened. So I have a lot of stations here. I'm worried about copyright a little bit. So I'm trying to go through them quickly. Yeah, I mean, I would. Alright, it does work well. I've tested it. I got a lot of stations on FM. I've gotten like music. I've gotten sports. I am worried a little bit about copyright or whatever, so I'm not gonna like turn it on for too long, you know. But yeah, again, a lot of. Yeah, so all that stuff, it works well. Now, as for the AM, let's switch it to AM. They do advise that this one's not going to work as well. This antenna. Yeah, I've yet to get a station on AM. But that's just AM radio for you, apparently. But yeah, all in all, it works very well. I've got a lot of stations on FM, and that's just really cool. It's really cool that you can just make this stuff. And it's really simple. All the issues you have, you know, they get back to you. Customer support's excellent. The quality of these components are very nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any real complaints about it. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I think all in all, if you want a nice project, especially if you're new to soldering, this is very good. I definitely recommend it. And very nice thing is that it only needs AA batteries. That's real sweet, because you know, a lot of these are Arduino, and the other thing I had made is 9-volt batteries. That's a lot more expensive. So AA batteries, that's real nice to me. But yeah, I mean, cool components. It looks cool. The battery pack lets it stand up on its own as well. I mean, yeah, I just recommend this. It's a very nice product. 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you guys for watching.